Hello, Healthy Family Community Manager Jordan here with another episode of the Member Spotlight series. So happy to be able to come live with you again on Tuesday evening. So happy for the ones that are joining. Today's episode is a little special because we have one of our community coaches, Jake, on here that has an amazing journey and amazing story to tell. And I'm super excited to get him on here and to get his journey out there for more people to see. So without further ado, let's get Jake on the podcast. Hello,
Hello.
Jake. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
So good, so good. Thank you so much for coming on here tonight with me. I so appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Go ahead and kind of introduce yourself to let people know who you are.
So I'm Jake. I'm a community coach. I am currently doing the Better Balance program. Um, I am art director, graphic designer in the Detroit area.
Yeah,
I'm getting married this year,
yeah.
and yeah, that's a little bit about me.
No, yeah, so awesome. And first of all, I have to ask just because like I'm not over that way anymore, but like how's the snow? Are you guys getting the snow?
Oh, it is like everything is locked down,
Yeah.
snowmageddon, like
Yep.
it is like they're expecting like 14
Oh
inches.
yeah.
Like
No, like so I was from Northwest Indiana all my life until I moved down south, and all of my family and friends that are still there, like 14 to 17 inches starting tonight to tomorrow. And so I'm just like I was telling my wife today, we were sitting outside tonight because it's like almost 70 degrees. Not to say, but it's almost 70 degrees. And I'm like, is it just weird that like we haven't had a winter this year? And my wife's like, well, that's why we moved down south. I'm like, yeah,
that's
you're
like
right.
the weirdest thing. It's been so bitter cold and today has been like really warm. Like it was
Yeah.
like 45, like it felt like spring is breaking and
Yep.
like meanwhile like my fiance Nick, his
Yeah.
school already called off for the next 2 days
Oh
because
yeah.
it's just going to be so bad.
Yeah, no, all of my nieces and nephews there, they like already sent them home with their worksheets, with their iPads, everything to like we're not going to see until next week. So
Nope.
so let's talk a little bit about your journey from the beginning, Jake. I know that like you've seen success before in other programs as well as ours, but like let's go to the very beginning. Like when did you decide that you wanted to get your health and wellness in check?
It was, let me see, 3 years ago.
Hmm.
Um, it was like right after the new year, and I hadn't like weighed myself in a while, and I stepped on that scale, and it was the highest number I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So, my fiance boyfriend at the time was doing WW, so I started doing WW, and I
Hmm.
saw a lot of success with it. Um, that success kind of backpedaled during the pandemic.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
lots of stress eating and just, going to the grocery store and buying whatever they had on the shelves. So
Hmm. Yeah, been there. Yep.
my journey definitely took a back seat. Um, but I felt like I had like a really unhealthy relationship with the journey, especially with WW, because there's such an emphasis on like weighing in and stuff. I just became
Yeah.
so obsessed
Hmm.
with the weigh in, the
Yeah.
number. So
Yeah.
like I kept moving my weigh in days. Like, oh well, I can't do it on Mondays because then I can't like go out
Enjoy the
on the
weekend.
weekends.
Yeah.
So like I'll do it on Wednesdays, and then like it just became this like
Yeah. It's
vicious
unhealthy
cycle
cycle.
of not eating a lot like leading up to weigh-ins, like doing like weird teas and stuff, and
Yeah.
it just came to a point where I'm like, this isn't sustainable. This isn't healthy.
Yeah.
Um, and this is a journey, not a marathon. um, so I last January made the switch to healthy, um, and it's been good. I had success. The holidays and just some craziness got in the way, and um, but this
It just
year,
shows
like,
you're human. Just shows you're human. We're not all perfect.
yes.
It's not perfect. So let's stop there about because I
Okay,
do want to
sorry.
talk about your the whole weighing in because you kind of inspired me like last week, I think, when you posted on your stories and all that stuff. But let's go, like, before we head into that, because I really think that is going to be a really good thing to say to our members. How was your life growing up like to get you to your heaviest point? You know what I mean? So how was it growing up? Like, were you always like a bigger person when you were,
I
younger?
was.
Because I was the
Um,
exact same. That's why I'm like,
yeah,
I always want to dig deep to see like how was it growing up? Like, we get so many members that are like, oh no, I was like star athlete until I had an injury and then I gained 90 pounds and I'm getting weight loss. You know what I mean?
yeah. No, I was the opposite of that. Like I wasn't very athletic. I was into theater and music and
Yeah.
art and all that. Um, and so I was always big, and then I just kept getting bigger, and especially like that last year of college was stressful, and then like I got
Hmm.
out of college, I'm living on my own, I'm just buying cheap junk.
Yeah.
Um, my health and wellness wasn't the focus, and
Hmm.
things just got out of control.
Well, I definitely think, especially with like what you do for a living, also is hard. Like being creative, that kind of is like the number one thing we do, and we don't focus on ourselves. You know what I mean? We're so
Yeah,
busy. Like I even find myself sometimes so busy, like helping others, that sometimes I forget to even like sit back and like look at my own journey and be like, all right, but I gotta like help myself first, you know?
exactly.
No, that's awesome. So, like, you were just, so I'm going through like your journey from before because I was a follower of yours, like, even before when you were doing WW and all that stuff. And it was really cool to see like you and Nick go through a lot of the same things. Um, so, like, what did you find when you were really in your like first beginning stages of weight loss? Like, what do you think attributed to it? Like, what was some of the things that you were like, all right, my groove is this.
Um, I think the newness really helped, and
Mhm.
I've really tried to, this year we both really got back into it. I'm,
Yeah.
tracking everything, everything, everything now, and um, trying to like respark that newness. I think the newness and the desire to branch out, the desire to find new recipes
Mhm.
and not get stuck in a rut.
Yeah.
Um, you know, try new things, spice up those meals,
Yeah.
because you don't just
Not
have
not
to
just
eat boiled
go
chicken and
not
steamed
ju
broccoli.
yeah, that or lean cuisines, like, that's
Exactly.
not what we need to do.
And just the consistently tracking. Like for me, and I like the tracking. I know some people they hate it. Um, but it I don't know. I'm like OCD. I'm a creature of
Yeah.
habit. Like I love to like pre-track my days. Like the night
Mhm.
before, I'll like track everything, like for the next day, just like to have my day planned out. So
No, yeah. No, that's totally awesome. So, one thing, let's then go into what you were kind of talking about before that really did inspire me. You talked openly on your Instagram about like it had been so long since you stepped on the scale again to really like weigh in. And that really hit me. That's like, wow, you saying that, it tells me like it's okay. Like it tells me, hey, I didn't weigh myself for the last 2 weeks, but that's totally cool. Like it's all part of the journey. Like,
yeah,
and you saying that really put the emphasis on like you don't have to weigh yourself all the time. Like we don't need to get into that vicious cycle of making sure, because I know probably the same with you or the same with Nick, like it is for me. Like sometimes that number dictates how I feel. Like
exactly.
like wanting to keep going.
And for me, I weighed in last week, and it was the first time I'd weighed in since April of last year.
Yeah.
And like part of that was like fear
Mhm.
almost like I didn't want that number to affect me, and I
Yeah.
weighed in and I was up from last April, but I was still down overall
Yeah, overall. Yeah, it was kind of
um
what you needed to
from
go
last
through.
January. Exactly, it was, and I needed that. But and I'm going to start weighing in more regularly, probably monthly,
Yeah.
just because like weight is so weird and fluctuates.
Mhm.
And there's people I follow and I love following their journey, but like they're weighing in every day and posting their weight every day, and and like you can see it, like it fluctuates like crazy, and it's
Yeah,
like you
yeah,
can have something salty and there can be it's
yeah.
just like not healthy to fixate on that, because like in the long run, you could weigh in like every month and see those losses, and
Well, and
like it averages out like that.
yeah, and I definitely think that, being on a plan like Better Balance, where there's so many, free foods, zero bite foods, to where it's more of the line of healthier eating, whole food type of eating rather than tracking, if that kind of makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
I could definitely see with this plan for your journey how it can be great to not have to worry about weighing yourself so long, because you're focusing, like, your meals 90% focus on these like lean meats and protein and veggies and all that stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So it doesn't really matter about 100% on that number of daily bites you get, because you're really trying to keep yourself full with whole foods.
exactly.
So we're talking about that with like Better Balance. What made you, like, especially when you were with WW before and it was just a one plan type of thing, and then you came over with us and you were introduced to six different plans, like, what made you stick with Better Balance?
um I played around in some of the other plans. I knew keeping it keto wasn't for me. I had tried
Hmm.
that years ago. Like, I mean,
Hmm.
not keeping it keto, but like I tried like keto, low
Yeah.
carb life. That is not how I thrive. I need something sustainable. And for me, that's what I found with Better Balance. Like, it's the most sustainable long term, because you have those zero bite foods, you have your weeklies, and it's
Hmm.
really, I feel like there's a greater emphasis on just making better choices
Yeah.
and choosing whole foods, but also like portions, and
Hmm.
also allowing yourself to indulge in the things you love. You know,
Yeah.
going out to dinner on the weekends and dipping into your weeklies.
Yeah.
So,
So with you and Nick being foodies, and you especially being a foodie, like, how have you made this plan work for you? You know what I mean? Especially with so much amazing food that you guys have over by you. Like, I get jealous sometimes when you guys are going out.
yeah, I mean, it is planning for it.
Mm,
Um, most of the times, when we're eating out or something, we're, doing it that on the weekends. So I'll try to eat so I have rollover for the weekends. And like
yeah,
last week, um, I one of my clients is this ice cream shop that does like crazy, crazy desserts. And so me and my coworkers wanted to go try it out, because like we
yeah,
can't design something without having
yeah. No,
amazing food.
definitely.
So like I knew that was coming. So I had like a lighter lunch and a lighter breakfast, so I could
Yeah,
have the delicious donut custard sandwich in the middle of
yeah.
my afternoon and not feel
Oh my
guilty
gosh.
about it.
That makes me like, we have this thing. Oh, what is it called? It's called the Mason jar here in Alabama. Like, I don't
Uh-huh.
know if you've heard of it. Like, they do like those Mason jar shakes, and then like on top of the shakes, it has. I mean, we're talking like a whole donut on top of it. Like, you got
Yeah,
to share it with your whole family. So I totally understand that, to be like, all right, how am I going to make this work? Like, how am I going to fit this into my day? Um,
exactly.
but especially with you being a foodie, I'm curious to know, and like everybody else probably is, like, what's some of your go-tos for like your breakfast, lunch, and dinners? You say you pre-track a lot, so like I'm curious to know, like, what are your main staples that you find you need?
I have been switching up my lunches. I have been doing a lot of like meal planning
Yeah,
and been a lot better about that the last couple weeks. So with that, it's usually some sort of wrap, using like Carb Smart wraps.
yeah,
Like this week, it's turkey ham and gouda, and like cottage cheese and like chips or veggie
yeah.
straws. Or it's some sort of bowl with like a grain.
Well, that
Like
sounds good. Yeah,
last week I made these Greek bowls with chicken and feta and a lot of veggies and tzatziki and some rice. So those proteins, some grain, just like really filling, really dense
yeah,
lunches.
yeah.
Um, breakfast, I'm still really bad about always eating breakfast.
Hmm.
And that varies on the day, but it's usually, yogurt or oatmeal or a piece of fruit. Sometimes I do smoothies with like a Slim Fast shake
Yeah.
moment, but
No, that's awesome. So I'm guessing you find that sometimes meal prepping and planning is really helpful for you.
Yes,
That
definitely.
is something, honestly, I wish that I could start doing. Well, I don't say could because I totally could. Like, I definitely could.
Yeah.
I think it's just like in my journeys myself, I always owned restaurants. So it was always readily available. Like, I didn't have to be like, okay, today I'm bringing to the office. Where now I'm like, I got to think about what I'm bringing for lunch. But
Yeah. Yeah, that was,
no,
I was getting in that lull of just putting random things together, or
yeah.
like chicken melts from like Costco or Sam's. Like I love
Mhm.
them, but I was like eating those for lunch every day, and
Yeah.
I need to start like prepping, and especially I work from home on Mondays, so like most days like I'll prep during my lunch on Monday, so like I don't
Hmm.
have to worry about doing it on Sunday. So I'll cook up my chicken and rice,
Yeah.
eat that fresh on Monday, and pack away the rest for the rest of the week.
No, that's super awesome. Like, so, like, how do you find, okay, so now that you're meal prepping on Mondays, like, do you it really does like, I'm new to the meal prep world. Like, when I say meal prep, like, I told my wife the other day, I'm like, maybe I'll make some overnight oats. That should be easy enough to put in the fridge. So I'm like curious now, like, they stay good for a couple days? Like, hey,
Yeah, for me, I also am not one to love to eat the same thing for 5 days.
and
So
that's what I'm worried
usually,
about. I would be worried about, like, hey, I meal prep this 4 days, but yet by the third day, I'm tired of my veggie burrito.
yeah. So I've been like meal prepping like for 3 days,
Yeah,
especially because like chicken, like I buy chicken from Aldi, two breasts. Like I can divide that amongst three
yeah.
meals if I'm doing something chicken based. And then I'll usually plan something later in the week for dinners that
Hmm.
will have leftovers.
Yeah.
So like this week it was supposed to be pasta fagioli soup, but I mean I'll still do that, but I'll be home, so I don't really need to worry about meal
Yeah,
prepping.
you're gonna be
But
home now for the couple days. So I'm
yeah,
curious now, like, how are these next couple days gonna be for you? Like, have you like stocked up on everything and you're like, all right, Nick, we're gonna literally try out this new recipe, this new recipe. Like, that's I feel like that's what I would do.
we did our grocery shopping on Saturday. I'm thankful because we usually do it on Monday. We had plans in the afternoon, and the
Yeah,
storm really hadn't been like no one was really talking about it. And like Sunday, the grocery stores were starting to get wild.
yeah.
So we're planned out through Friday for meals, but then like today I was like going through the freezer and counted line. Okay, we have shrimp, we have some rice, we have some veg. Like I was thinking of backup meals just in case we're snowed in for a while.
Oh
So
my gosh, don't say that. Do not say that. It's giving me too many bad memories of being in Northwest Indiana. No, no. Like, and it's funny that we're talking about this right now because, like, I think here they claimed we were supposed to get snow once, like a month ago, because it got down in like the 20s, but like it sprinkled a little bit. But by goodness, I tell you, the day before I went to Walmart and like everything was out, like,
oh
everybody
yeah,
bought up everything because they shut everything down. And I'm
yeah,
like, so then the next day it was like snowing a little bit, and here I am like driving to the office, and like nobody's on the road because like no one knows how to drive it. I'm like, I guess like I'm used to whiteout conditions. This is like
exactly.
pretty nice. No, so awesome, Jake. So thankful to have you on the team, especially as a community coach. What can people look for you to do with like your Instagram? Because I'm gonna plug you in right now in the chat so anybody wants to. It's Jake's journey.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about that because I know that in the beginning of your weight loss journey, especially with WW, like that's when you kind of got into the Instagram world and kind of was dabbling with that. How has that been for you? What can our followers find on your Instagram and kind of any plans for
Um, so honestly that was also a big part of my journey and still is. I find a lot of motivation in it,
it?
and I'm not big into like Pinterest or like
Yeah.
anything like that, and it's just so great to connect with people, see recipes. With mine, you'll find a lot of meals, a lot of food, a lot of recipes. Me trying weird foods. I've been getting into reels lately, which have been
Yes.
fun. So I've been doing some taste tests on that. I tried the pink glow pineapple, like the
Yeah.
$15 really fancy
Hmm.
pineapples. It's worth the $15 if anyone's curious. But you'll also find a lot of Aldi finds because we are predominantly Aldi shoppers in this
You know
house.
what? And
So
I can honestly say, Jake, as a follower, I love seeing you and Nick's like Aldi finds because I can't find anything when I go to Aldi. Like
no,
I'm telling you, when I go to Aldi, like I don't know if it's because I don't go there enough, but when I do go there, it's like nothing is where I feel like it was the last time I was there. Like I remember like looking for something and then come to find out like I had to get a worker and they're like, "Oh no, it's in the very beginning where the fruits and veggies are because that's like where our top items, like the new items sometimes go there." I'm like,
yeah,
"Why wasn't this by the chips? Because it was like some like low carb chip thingy." I don't know.
there. Most of our store has like stayed consistent. Like I could navigate it blindfolded. But like the last couple months, they have been like rearranging the refrigerator layout of where
Yeah.
things are, and it still throws me out. Like I'm just looking for hummus, and there's like lunch meat there, and vice
Yeah.
versa. So I guess I can uh, feel for you on that one.
Yeah.
But
No,
you just
definitely.
have to start going every week, and then you'll get a
I
good
know. I know. I wish it was I mean, when I say closer, like it's like 25 minutes away. So it's not like super, super far, but I wish we had one here in our city. But so now kind of like first of all, I've said it again, like thank you so much for joining me tonight. I really do enjoy like having you as a community coach and getting to talk to you like that, but then also being a follower of yours and Nick's on Instagram and seeing your guys' journeys. But like what do you I always ask two questions to our podcast like or our podcast people. Um like what is something, Jake, you now know, but you so wish you knew when you first started your journey that 3 years ago?
that you can that it's a journey and not a marathon, um,
Yes.
and that you can give yourself grace and you can like there's no messing up like and nothing really derails you. It's
Yeah.
just all about mindset. Like
Yeah.
go too hard on the jelly beans. It's okay. Tomorrow's a new day. Like
Yeah.
it's
No,
okay.
I love that so much because honestly, if we can't have grace with ourselves, how are we supposed to get it? You know, and that's the biggest
Exactly.
thing is like we mess up, who cares? Like we're on put on this earth to like live our lives to the fullest sometimes, you know, and it's like sometimes that means I'm gonna stop at Dunkin' Donuts and get me a donut with my iced coffee. Like, I mean, let's be real. But
Yeah.
also to know like to have enough grace to know like, hey, you did great these last 5 days. Like sometimes I want to be like that. I want to be like, you've been good, boo.
Yeah.
You've been good.
Like
Like,
in the beginning, I was just like striving to like eat within my
yeah,
points on WW
yeah,
every day and not using weeklies, and it was just like boring. Like I was finding myself, oh no, I won't go out to lunch with you like during work, or like avoiding going out to dinner, or like going to
yeah,
dinner to my favorite place and avoiding my favorite meal
yeah,
because it's
yeah.
points.
No,
So
it's more of a way of living. It needs to be more of a way of living rather than this fad diet. Like if we
exactly.
always think it's going to be a fad diet, then it's always going to be a fad diet. But when you find that, hey, you know, as long as we're still, like I always say, as long as you still have the app on your phone, like it could be 5 months from now and I could talk to somebody, they'd be like, I haven't tracked in 5 months. Do you still have the app? Well, yeah, because I just like, I'm not going to get rid of it. Okay. Well, you're still there. Like
Yeah.
you can still do it, you know? And that's like, that's what I said before, like with your journey of like not weighing in and then finally weighing in, like you didn't use it as a tool to be like, all right, I failed this and that. I'm not going to do this anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and then finally, my last question that I do ask our members that are on with me is, you know, there is like we're almost, and this is like a like plug. We are almost at 70,000 listens on our podcast. Like 70,000 within like 8 months, 9 months that I've been doing this for the podcast. So it's crazy. There's an insane amount of people that are listening. So there's going to be that person that is really struggling and really wanting. They could be that, we hear all the time, that click moment. You're that click moment for them. What do you want to tell them to get them to start?
Don't let the journey define you. You define the journey, and give yourself grace. Give yourself that grace to pick yourself up, and don't let anything get in your way, and especially those mental barriers.
Yeah. No, love that so much. That actually goes with what I posted on Monday, where it's like you have the control over your week. You have the
Yes.
control over there might be crazy stuff going on in the world, crazy stuff going on in your life, but like your health and wellness, you control. Like the effort you put into it.
Yeah.
Love that. Love that. Well, Jake, thank you so much for joining me. I so appreciate it. This will
Of
be up
course.
on the podcast on Friday, and I know a lot of people are going to listen to it. Go ahead, once again, let people know who you are, how they can find you on Instagram, etc.
Yeah, so I'm Jake Partial, community coach, doing better balance, and you can follow me on Instagram and TikTok. It's Jake's Journey, um,
Yes.
all one word.
So awesome. So awesome. Thanks, Nick. Thanks, Jake. There you go. There you go. Thanks, Jake. I appreciate it.
Of course, enjoy your 75 degrees.
Yes. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, guys. Bye.
Bye.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining me for another Tuesday Night Live member spotlight meeting with Jake. This was awesome. His journey is inspiring. Go ahead and check him out on Instagram, guys, and TikTok. It's Jake's Journey. My name is Jordan, the community manager for Healthi, and I do this every single Tuesday night at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. This will be on the podcast, our Healthi Talks podcast. That's available on all podcasting platforms. Friday mornings is when it goes live. And also, guys, one more thing to also plug in, we do now offer member meetings for just $3 for a meeting. Y'all can get the majority of our community coaches. We have Coach Brianna, Coach Alexis, Coach Ben, and Coach Lisa that do these meetings, member meetings, and they are via Zoom, one-on-one. It's amazing, guys. We do that every week. So go ahead, if you haven't signed up yet, go ahead and click the link. I'm going to put it right here in the show notes. Go ahead and get that, click that link, and we'll see you over in one of our meetings. But like I said, my name is Jordan, community manager for Healthi. I will see you guys next Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Bye, guys. Have a good night.